I'm so proud to announce that we finally did it. We finally made it to 100 subscribers. And in honor of 100 subscribers, we're going to be doing a question and answer, aka a Q&A. My name is Stella, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a Q&A. I just want to thank you guys once again for 100 subscribers, because you guys know how important it is for me to spread the word that reptiles are amazing and they should not be hated. So I want to thank you guys so much. We're actually at 102 subscribers right now. In case you guys are wondering where Pixie is, she's currently sleeping in her cave, which is why she won't be joining us. So let's get started with the first question. The first question is, what is something about pet care you've learned now that you wish you would have known before bringing home your pet? That's a great question. I wish I would have known a lot more about the different behaviors of bearded dragons. Because when I first took Pixie home, I thought she would be one of those bearded dragons that was always active and roaming around. And some bearded dragons aren't like that. Every single bearded dragon has a different personality and different behaviors. Some bearded dragons like to run around a lot, and some just like to chill in the sun. It really depends on your beardie. So when I took my dragon home, I thought she would run around and be active, but she mainly stayed in her basking spot to, get some heat in. She doesn't really like to move around that much, only sometimes when she's like exploring new things or something like that. So she was one of those beardies who mainly stayed in her hot spot and mainly stayed in one spot, which is perfectly fine because some bearded dragons are like that. Question number 2. What is your favorite reptile and why? I have so many favorite reptiles for different reasons. However, one of them definitely has to be the pig-nosed turtle. In case you didn't know, the pig-nosed turtle has like a snout that's like a pig kind of, so I think it looks really cute and adorable. I mean, just look at them. And black dragon monitors are an absolute dream. Question number 3. What is your dream pet? Well, this is probably obvious, but my dream pet is a snake. I would love to own a boa constrictor one day and many different species. Some of the species I want to own are green tree pythons, boa constrictors, ball pythons, corn snakes, hognose snakes, and boa snakes. Those are just a few. I'm not allowed to get any more reptiles. However, when I move out and are able to care for and sustain for a reptile, then I will definitely be adding to my collection and getting more reptile species, because they're such unique creatures that deserve love and respect. Question number 4. How do you manage studies with pet care? So usually around this time, Pixie starts to brumate, and she was brumating a couple weeks ago, but she's been on this thing where she's like on and off. So sometimes she brumates, sometimes she doesn't. It's kind of confusing, kind of not, because like they're supposed to do that. So usually around this time, Pixie brumates, so I don't really have to do much with pet care, so I mainly focus on schoolwork. However, after school, I usually feed her a couple of dubia roaches and give her some water. Over the weekends, I bathe, and depending on how dirty her enclosure is, I'll clean. Throughout the week, at different times, I handle her, although not really right now because she's brumating, so I kind of can't do that. Also, when I say bathing and cleaning and feeding, I kind of mean like summer or like when she's not brumating. I still feed Pixie if she wants to eat while she's brumating. However, that's not really a necessity because right now she's in winter dormancy. So if she wakes up from brumation, that's when I'll feed her. So I'm not really doing that much right now because she's brumating, which allows me to focus more on schoolwork. I tend to feed her first before doing my homework. Question number 5. Are your parents strict about pets? Yes, they kind of are. I currently have 4 pets though. I have a Chihuahua, aka a dog, in case you didn't know. I have 2 cats, Sandy and Ginger. And then I have 4th one, which is the star of the show, Pixie, my bearded dragon. My family doesn't plan on getting any more pets in the future, including reptiles. However, like I said earlier, I do when I move out and when I'm older and when I can provide for those animals. The next question is, are you planning on getting any more animals in the future? So I kind of just answered this, but no, not right now because my parents are a little bit strict about pets and we don't plan on getting any more. However, like I said, in the future, I definitely will. But question number 7 is, why did you start owning reptiles? So I have a video which I'll link here why I like reptiles, and you can watch that to get a better understanding. But why I started owning reptiles is because during quarantine, a lot of reptile videos started coming up on my page and on YouTube. And it's not like I never loved reptiles, because ever since I've been little, I've been obsessed with animals, but regardless of their species. So I didn't care if it was a snake, a lizard, a dog. I didn't care about the species, but I wasn't as into reptiles as I am now. Like, I would like reptiles, but I didn't know as much as I did now. And I mainly focused on mammals, or I mainly like to learn about mammals. However, over quarantine, I started to watch a lot of reptile YouTube channels, which encouraged me to start this YouTube channel and start owning reptiles. These channels opened my eyes to how amazing reptiles are. So I started to do my research and asked my mom if we could get a snake. Unfortunately, she said no. However, we decided on a bearded dragon. So I did my research for around 3 months-ish, and we finally got Pixie. We found a good breeder, and that's how we found Pixie. I don't even know what question we're on. I think it might be 8, but question 8 is, what is the worst stereotype about reptiles in your opinion? So there are so many that I hate. However, one of them has to be is that snakes are aggressive. Snakes are not aggressive, they're defensive. There's a complete opposite difference. Like, those two words are completely different. Aggressive is when they're trying to hurt you, like they want to. Defensive is when they're protecting themselves and hurting you to protect themselves because maybe you're bothering them or maybe you're scaring them. Snakes aren't aggressive, they're just defensive because they're trying to protect themselves and they think that you are a threat. So that's one of the worst stereotypes I hear about reptiles and snakes, that they're aggressive and that they're attacking you because they want to. It's not because they want to, they're just defending themselves. So if you ever see a family member or a snake and someone says, oh, that snake's aggressive, correct them and say they're actually defensive. Question number 9, I think it was, is how did you know that owning reptiles was for you? So like I said, over quarantine, when COVID was happening, I became really interested on reptiles, and that encouraged me to research more about them and learn more about them. I just enjoy the hobby, so it's not necessarily how you know it's a right thing. It's just if you want to own reptiles, just make sure you do your research. However, I think that owning reptiles was for me because I really fell in love with these creatures. Question number 10 is, do you have any siblings? I actually have one twin brother who's older than me by a minute, and his name is Mark. The next question is Pixie your first reptile? Yes, Pixie's my first and only reptile currently. She is a little over a year. She's like a year and 4 months, I think. Maybe probably more. I don't remember exactly. The next question is, do you belong to the Reptile Association? So a reptile association doesn't really exist. However, if you own a reptile, then you're just part of the hobby and you're part of the reptile community. The next question is, if you happened upon a reptile hurt, would you try and rescue it? This is actually a really good question because I have mixed feelings about this. Here's my opinion. If the reptile was extremely hurt, I probably would try to save it. However, in some scenarios, it's best to let nature take its course. Sometimes if you know you can help the snake and if you know you can, then I probably would. However, sometimes other animals need to feed and it's just a circle of life. So sometimes if it's the wound is really bad, I think it's kind of best to let it be and just let nature take its course. But it really depends on the situation. The next question, I think it's 13 or 12, is if you could be any reptile, which one would you be and why? I think I would probably be a green tree python because these snakes they're arboreal, which means they love to hang out in the trees. And because they are arboreal, they hang out in tons of branches all day and they just like to lay around. Also, they're nocturnal, so during the day they'll just curl up on a branch and basically sleep. So that's what I would probably be because I just want to lay around all day, you know? It's editing Stella, and I didn't realize this while filming. But I think I'd also want to be a chameleon because it would be pretty easy for me to adapt to my surroundings and also do that with style because I can change into any color I want. And because of that, I can always go incognito. I think we're on question 15 or 14. Do you play any video games? So I used to play Roblox and Minecraft sometimes, but I don't really do that anymore, and I don't really play video games anymore. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to kind of go quick. What made you start this channel? So I started this channel because, as I mentioned earlier, during quarantine, I started to see a lot of like reptile YouTubers, and that just encouraged me to start my own channel. And because I got Pixie, it also encouraged me. So basically what made me start this channel is Pixie and learning about reptiles over quarantine and watching other people's videos. We only have 2 more questions left, so the next one is, what is your favorite number? I don't really think I have a favorite number, but if I were to choose, it'd probably be 23 because that's the day of my birthday. And the last question we have on today's Q&A is, do you watch anime? Yes, I do. Some of the animes I've seen are Demon Slayer, The Promised Neverland, Hunter x Hunter, and a lot more. So yes, I've seen animes and I do enjoy watching them. Well, this video is long enough, so I'm going to stop it here. If it seemed like I was going fast, that's because I don't want this video to be too long. And I hope we can continue this channel and get 1,000 one day. I think it's really incredible that I have 100 followers loving reptiles and keep watching my channel. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and watching this video and learning about reptiles with me. Pixie says thanks from her cave. Remember, if you have any video ideas, you can comment them down below, and I'll see you next time. If it seemed like I was going fast, that's because I don't want